4 times a year, a bunch of rich people come together and we talk about getting richer. This one was no different. There's a really clear pattern amongst all these guys that hit this milestone, this particular go-around. Webinars were a big thing. About 8 of them out of the 9 had used webinars in order to scale up to their $1 million months. And keep in mind, these are all people that between our last mastermind in October and this one in January of that following year, so about 3 months, had hit this big milestone for the first time. Their stories were incredible. Sometimes it's as simple as you hear a guy's story who's just been going sideways. He just finally decides to scale because he gets in front of a room full of people like this. And then afterwards, of course, everybody networks with each other. We're here at our facility in Miami, Florida, where we have a whole bunch of arcade machines branded for our company logos, 13,000 games apiece. Just, fun stuff to do to kind of help with ease in networking without using drugs and alcohol. Ping pong table, pool table, just a big old facility full of a bunch of fun stuff. We have all the cars out in the lot from our members that pull up and a few of my cars as well. And we just hang out. And again, we all talk with one clear intention: getting a hell of a lot richer. And I look forward to giving you some behind the scenes of what this particular one looked like, because I'll tell you what, it was a very special one for sure. So enjoy a glimpse into what it's like to be a part of Jeremy's inner circle at one of our masterminds. Let's dive in. 0.1% of people on Earth, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, ever crack $10 million a year, which isn't even $1 million a month, right? It's about $833,000 a month. So you'd assume that there's an even smaller probability than that, so less than 0.1% would ever hit $12 million a year, aka $1 million months, or the even smaller probability that you'd ever hit more than that, a couple $1 million a month. But I'll tell you, what it does, it doesn't necessarily increase your probability. I think the probabilities are the same being in rooms like these. I think that what happens is you come to normalize it. Anything that you have exposure to consistently becomes normal. And generally when you normalize something, it becomes easier to achieve, obtain, or maintain the idea of being possible for you when it's something positive and profound, like $1 million months as an example. So when you get in front of a room full of people that every quarter, because 4 times a year we do this, and the quantity of trophies we give out, obviously that varies depending on how many people in the group hit these goals between the next 3 months. It's something you have to really understand. Law of association, you get this like residue that you kind of leave with when you come out of a room like this, where not only do you believe your odds are higher, even though realistically they're the exact same as it is for everybody else on Earth. It doesn't necessarily change. It just gives you that reality of seeing it all up close, which a lot of people don't get the opportunity or the benefits of seeing. Most people see things from the outside. And when I say you get to see things up close, like these are all just normal dudes that are part of the group, normal women that are part of the group, that you get to interact with, that you get to network with. There's no pretentiousness in this room. There's no real big egos in this room that are out of hand by any means that, negate talking to somebody or giving them information or answering questions about stuff. So when I say you get to see it up close, you get all these behind the scenes views on things. You get to ask the intimate questions. You get the clarifying things answered. And that's what's very interesting. You'll watch this video as an example and you'll see it technically from afar, from the outside. If you were in this room, you just get to ask these people questions that you want the clarity on, and if you're in this room, it's because you're big enough to be here, first of all, and we believe in your potential to get bigger, and you believe in your potential to get bigger, and that's why you pursue this kind of journey and expose yourself to all this. The goal should be to make it normal. The goal should be to see such large numbers that it just dwarfs you in comparison and makes you want to go big as a result. We had guys like Ed, where he didn't believe it was even possible for himself when he very first joined the group. He was around 100K a month, right? Barely scraping by for the income qualification that we have. He ended up cracking not only $1 million a month, but $1 million a month in profit in December.
When I first joined, I told him $100,000 is what I'm doing. It's probably gonna be where I'm at. Don't ever see $1 million a month coming in my industry for what I can do. Was pretty well stuck on that. What we do is we do tax reduction for business owners. We come in and we reduce people's taxes by 50 to 80%. So logically, it's a very easy sale. But as we know with sales, it's not just logic, we have to get over emotion. Part of the problem that when we first started out was me, because I'm all logical, I'm a CPA. And to me, it's like, well, dumbass, I saved you all this money, pay me. It's not quite that easy, as you all know. So I went through 3 really good, solid C salespeople and went through the struggles of that and trying to find somebody that was good. In November last year, finally had an A player. First month, $230,000 cash collected. So December started rolling around and the profits were coming along pretty good. And I always had Jeremy in the back of my mind with that $1 million. And I crossed $1 million in sales. I said, fuck, if I can get $1 million in sales, that sounds great. What if we can amp it up? What if I can make $1 million in profit this month? I thought a little bit, and I said, I think I can do that. My gut says you should cut the ads off the end of November because it's going to be hard to fulfill that for all these people. But then it's like, I got to hit $1 million profit, so I'm not cutting off my ads. My ads are staying on. But I think what really made it work for me was several things. One, I had the confidence through Jeremy and the group. I had in the back of my mind just pushing me, saying, $1 million a month, $1 million a month. I listen to every YouTube video that he's got, and all I hear is, we have $1 million a month people here. And I says, well, damn it, I'm going to be one of them. So I hit that opportunity, and like I said, I just pushed through it and kept working. But I do feel that it's all mindset and just saying, fuck it, I can do this, and just go do it because it's out there for you. There's so many times that I come through and had limiting beliefs. I can't do this, I can't do this. And every time I push it aside and go forward, I move a whole lot faster than I did before. And that gives you the confidence to never look back. And when he's talking about the anchors, you can't let yourself have the anchors. You just have to keep going and push because there's always going to be something in the way. Something that's going to get in your mind and make you think you can't do this, make you a little queasy that day, I shouldn't do it. The only way you know how to do it is to just test it. And once you make some money and you got cash in the bank, you never look back. You just keep going and keep pushing, you don't sit. Getting a good salesperson helped out a lot too. It can be a challenge, I know, but just finding the right person is the best thing. And Jeremy told me, once you have an A salesperson, that's all that you have. You don't have B's and C's anymore. That's all that you have in your organization. And when he was talking earlier today about things getting in your way from a growth standpoint, I just drew a straight line and said, okay, what does this thing really mean? It means you grow, you spend more, you build, and you keep growing, and you just keep that linear line going and you don't stop. You just adjust and keep going. And that's what I did last year, and that's what I'm gonna do even more this year. So my goal for this year is to double. So we'll be doing twice as much in 26 as we did in 25. I've got that in place.
Usually there's a big aha moment. I can see it in people's eyes. It happens all the time. It happens at different points too. Sometimes I'll be in the middle of talking because I usually start the events and I do a talk. This particular one, I gave a talk on how as you get richer, responsibility heightens. And generally most people have a belief matrix where as responsibility heightens, they remove risk and try not to take risks because, you know, they view all the stuff that they have to do, the duties that they have, as something that becomes an anchor and something that holds them back. And I gave them a perspective that like radically shifted their view on how that belief matrix works. I brought it to their self-awareness, and it was crazy. It was like, I had a lot of intuition in the fact, because I can see patterns from above and what everybody needs, that this was going to have significance for everybody there, and it did. I could see people's eyes in real time. It's hard to describe, you know, but you can see like a switch occur. And I see that at different moments, you know. Sometimes it's after, in this case, like I said, 9 guys got $1 million a month trophies. Imagine after like the 6th or 7th one, where you just see something that you imagine running a webinar, being in this room, you're making like whatever, a couple $100,000 a month, or maybe you're even making a couple $1 million a month, and you view yourself as smarter than somebody who's talking, and you have that perspective. Or you sit there and you're doing the same thing and you're just like, they're doing the same shit as me. Like, why not me? Why can't I do it? That sometimes flicks the switch. Other times it's after it all kind of culminates, after the day ends, and you're sitting there trying to process it out loud, and you're talking to a group of people that you met while you're here, and you realize like these other people are going through similar situations. You all kind of put your heads together, which is what a true mastermind is, and you collectively solve your problems that you've been struggling with. You go back home, you try it out, and that's when it clicks, you know? That's when you get your value. I'll tell you, it's like that Spartan movie where they just, you know, just kick somebody in the chest. It's when it clicks, you can see it, and it doesn't escape them afterwards, which is what I think is really cool, you know? You turn it on and it stays on is how it looks. And most people come out of this room with obviously a profound sense of motivation, a profound belief and optimism that it's possible and that they can do much larger things than they're doing now. And I think that's most important to consider. But they also get loaded up with strategies and tactics, confirmation that they're doing the right things, or, you know, something that challenges belief that they carry that's otherwise holding them back.
I actually remember back in Q1, so I joined like September, October 2024. And then I had 2 sales reps in Q1, and I was like, man, this thing's printing. It was making like 300K. It's like, fuck all. And in typical Jeremy, he was like, yeah, cool. How much money did you make this month? I was like, 300K. He's like, how much money did you make last month? I was like, 300K. So he's like, wait, so you fucking made the same amount of money this month that you did last month? I was like, yeah. And I think he said something like, Brandon, do you know how to grow this fucking thing? I was like, yes, sir. He's like, say it, so that I fucking know that you know. I was like, get more sales reps and fill their calendar. He's like, cool. What are you gonna do today? I was like, I'm gonna get a sales rep and fill their calendar. He's like, you got any other fucking questions? I was like, no, sir. He's like, cool. I didn't talk to Jeremy for a couple months after that because I actually, you don't know this, I jogged to the office and then hired a sales rep and then filled a calendar.
You know, we all technically live in the same world, but we experience it completely differently relative to the standards that we choose to maintain. And when you have opportunities to have people who challenge your standards and increase the opportunities that you can perceive as a result of increasing your standards, everything changes.
When I first met Jeremy, I knew this guy was a little different, you know? Very confident, and he shares his opinion straight up, which I love. And I remember my first one-on-one with him. I was telling him what we were doing. I was like, hey man, I got this offer going. We help military members build wealth through real estate. And he's like, okay, what's your numbers? I said, we're doing $350 cash collected a month at a 5-6x. And his reaction, I can never forget. Took off his glasses and said, Josh, I want you to answer this question as honestly as possible. And I thought something profound was about to happen, right? Josh, do you hate money? And I was like, I'm kind of fond of money. I like money. I like what it could do. So this was the first lesson that he taught me, was sometimes there is no secret tactic. You just need to do more. Just do more. If your ROAS is good, scale. If your fulfillment is good, scale. And pretty much if you don't suck, scale. A lot of us are looking for this confidence to take that next step. Well, in reality, all of us in here right now has everything that it takes to get to the next level. Sometimes you just need permission. This is my offer, Simple Wealth Academy. We've been up for 2 years and 1 month. What we do is we help military members build wealth through rentals, niche, real estate consulting, regular consulting community, info. And in the past 30 days alone, just on this one vehicle, we've done $1 million. That's collected. Does not include the DM funnel that we have and the other things that we're doing, a couple $100,000 more. If you're gonna do the campaign where you don't turn it off, which is the one that I like, you are gonna do 3 webinars a week. It is a lot of work. And I do 3.5 hours per webinar. So that's 10.5 hours per week, right? But are you willing to do 10.5 hours per week to make $1 million at a 6x ROAS?
I was sitting right back there, and it was the same talk that obviously worked for 8 other people. I was realizing, you know, like, while I had done really well in the general scheme of things, like quote really well, I really wasn't doing anywhere near the full potential. And me and Jeremy had had many one-on-one calls, and he would always just drill into me, like, what the fuck are you doing? Why aren't you scaling ads? I remember the first talk I gave here, I gave it on YouTube and how proud I was that we hadn't spent any money on ads. Like, that was a good thing. But I realized that if we were actually going to do this, which was about a triple in revenue from where we're at, this quote held true as well, and it's that if you're not all in, you're gonna fail. You gotta play to win. So I tried to break things down and ask myself, what were the main drivers we were gonna have to push? What were the levers we were gonna have to pull? Most of our revenue comes from a VSL, so we knew we had to add in some kind of webinar model because it seemed like everybody was doing live events, everybody was doing webinars. But there was one problem with that. And that was that every single competitor was doing the same thing and doing them in November. It was all the same thing. Come to my 3-day live event, or come to my live event, I'm gonna teach you how to trade. Something in my mind telling me that if we did the same thing, that our launch would not end up the way that we wanted it to end up. So I tried to keep it simple and just think about how can we combat this? And I think the easiest way to look at it is that in a saturated market, positioning is really everything. Because if you can somehow position your offer in info, especially in this whole organic space, as something that is unique, you have a much higher probability to beat the competition. If you wanted to learn how to swim, would you read a book on swimming? You know what I mean? Like, or would you want to go out and actually have somebody coach you on or play an instrument? It's the same thing. So that's kind of the logic we use. We give you all the information, put it together, you get the app, the trained AI, a bunch of other cool stuff. But if you really want that next level guidance, for example, like we have a part of the software where they can put in their trades. A trade journal is a really popular software tool. We actually have an option to where they could say, do you want to get your trades reviewed by a human? See, that's the part of the upsell, right? Instead of just having your trade journal, what if we gave you deliberate feedback on every single trade you take? So things like that, that was kind of like the gap we would build.
The fellow IC member, Samar Green, shares his story about webinars taking him to $1 million per month. And he was doing about the same revenue that I'm doing. He posted in the group screenshot of that 960 or whatever, the same one of your slides. He's like, yeah, I was at 300-something thousand. I did these webinars, and all of a sudden, I'm just shy of $1 million. I'm gonna hit $1 million. So I was like, oh, fuck yeah, bro, that's my revenue level. I'm gonna add a monthly themed webinar around current topics. So I attended the mastermind. I leave the mastermind early, commit to a webinar, and for our students that had already paid us, we're doing rapport-driven weekly webinars. Those are the front-end customers with an extremely soft pitch. I'm not even concerned about closing them then. I'm concerned about making them like me so I can close them on the big webinar. And then a huge focus on student activation to reduce churn and to make customers happier, which also means less refunds and more upgrades. And the monthly webinars just took off. For the last 4 months since October, we've been doing them each month. That first one in October did maybe around $450,000 in sales. The other one's $250,000 to $300,000 in sales. And we spent so much time building rapport in the past, and it got us to that $300,000, $400,000 a month mark, but we didn't have a vehicle to monetize those leads, and adding the monthly webinars did it.
Sometimes you just have to have somebody show you what's possible by operating at a higher level. Sometimes you have to see somebody maintain a heightened baseline. It's very interesting to witness, but I'm going to tell you this. The standards that an individual comes into this with generally increase dramatically from participating in something that's bigger than themselves, a community.
My favorite thing about the mastermind is really meeting all these other entrepreneurs and being able to network with them. I've been to other events and where I've gotten awards and things, and sometimes you feel like you're the biggest fish in the room. And that's cool for your ego, but you might not learn it as much. You know, you'll feel like you're in there with a lot of people who are kind of just getting started, and that's fine. But when you're already making millions and millions a year, you don't want the basic shit. You're right, the basic shit is not gonna help you. What you need is like the high level stuff that people on the cutting edge are implementing and having success with in their businesses.
It's gotten to the point now where the room has achieved such a high level where it's like literally some of the best in this entire like internet marketing space, and everyone is in this group now. So it's like access to those people, you know, all the like friendships, business relationships, client relationships that's come from that. I joined in here right when I did my first 6-figure month. Like that, which was my ceiling before, is now like my floor. And it's almost like an embarrassment to like do the numbers that you do, and no other room I can think of or I know of where that's the kind of standard that you get held to.
One of the most important jobs that I carry as the leader of the group, and I carry this responsibility with a heavy load. You know, I do take it very seriously. You have to understand there's a ripple effect to all of what we do when we talk about getting richer. It goes well beyond just the money. This impacts people in a profound way because pretty much everybody in this room is a highly ethical business owner that's selling something that actually helps people, like almost every business owner has as a product or service. As they go out there and scale, right? The quantity of customers that they help, the amount of people that they get to do business with increases exponentially. Every person that you talk to has something very interesting and unique that they can provide to you. And so even in that context, like it goes well beyond just the impact that they're making as they scale their own businesses. They recognize the impact they make in others as they choose to help that person too.
So what we did was we went from doing shit like this. VSLs for our offer, which is the Amazon FBA offer, which was not producing for us. We couldn't build enough trust with this, so we switched to webinars. We went from done for you to done with you and do it yourself. And I started hiring. We took every single dollar that we had and literally invested into training our sales team, hiring agencies, and of course, investing in the inner circle. It was the biggest shift that ever happened in my life in a rapid amount of time.
At some point we're spending like 100 to 150K per month on ads. And what we just tried is like retargeting our audiences with Instagram profile funnel ads. So we just see like, hey, those visit Instagram profile ad, we send everybody there. That was really like printing on retargeting was like 10x ROAS. And then we were like, okay, let's try that on cold as well. So now we're spending like 10 to 20K a month also on cold traffic to the Instagram profile. I mean, long story short, you DM everybody and you close everybody there. That's actually our best funnel right now. The big thing here is we repurposed one funnel, the VSL funnel, to webinar funnels and Instagram profile funnel. We also tested a bunch of other funnels like DM ads that didn't do too well, but it's an easy way to just squeeze more out of it.
Everybody has a slightly different set of needs, and we cover all of it. We try to make sure that we give each type of person that's here exactly what they need. And the coolest part about it being above all this, my responsibility is to be able to see all that and intertwine speakers, create specific opportunities where I'm introducing different people together who I know are gonna mesh well and be able to feed one another those specific things.
So the most important thing we discovered about TikTok ads was that to get qualified leads for our 7K offer, we had to optimize as deep in the funnel as possible. I cannot stress this enough. If you try to run TikTok ads to a webinar optimized for like complete registration or lead, you're gonna get the worst, most broke people like you'll ever see. So the only way we could combat this was to optimize for qualified scheduled calls. After a qualified call, they go on the confirmation page, that's where we pixeled it. Messaging is still important, but not as what I said as above. And then this was really a game changer. So TikTok has this feature where you can optimize deeper in the funnel than what you're already technically optimizing for, and it's called deep funnel optimization. So what we did with this is we used the high-res purchase pixel, but we only fired back to the purchase pixel people that paid in full. And what we noticed was after we did this setup, we were able to get good quality leads through. And the CPMs on TikTok are really cheap. Like we were seeing like $5 or $6 CPMs.
It's funny, I get this question all the time from people recently where they're like, oh, what's next, what's next? I hope it's just a continuation of exactly what we're doing because we consistently expand, we consistently help people get a lot richer, we consistently put people on a tremendous level of game. The momentum is absolutely unfucking believable for how aggressively we're growing and how much incredible feedback we get from all the people that are a part of this whole thing. And I can't stress enough, we'd love to just continue adding more great people, give more people the opportunity to get this exposure. We're very enthusiastic about the opportunity to welcome new members who are the right fit. Of course, we got income qualifications to join. We've got commitments so we don't get uncommitted short-term people. Again, give a deep fuck about who we let into this whole thing, but we're always very excited about the opportunity to interview that next person who could become a part of this thing. So check that link down in the description. There should be something down there to tell you, apply here and consider joining Jeremy's Inner Circle. It'd be a true honor to help you in your journey of getting richer, and there's truly nothing like it, and there never will be, because this combination is unique and cared for, nurtured. So looking forward to seeing you a part of it if it ends up being right for you. Hope you enjoyed. Talk soon.